Hello everyone, today I'm going to be recreating Girl with a Pearl Earring using only these 5 colors. Got the primary colors and black and white, so this is going to really test my color mixing and color theory skills. I'm starting off by doing the skin colors and just putting some bases down so I can get a feel for the colors I need and for everything else. This is going to be very, very challenging. As if I even need to say that. It's literally a famous painting. And we're gonna see what I can come up with. I started off by doing the skin because I knew it was going to be the most challenging part because mixing skin colors is very, very hard. So I started off by making all of those colors I thought that I would need, and I will say the colors are not matched perfectly. There are a lot more warmth and cool tones and like a lot of different things going on in the original painting that I was not able to achieve within my 3 hours of recreating this. So it's a little bit different, but I'm still pretty proud of it, and I don't think I've ever painted a face before, at least not successfully. So this was a pretty big challenge and pretty rewarding. It's kind of crazy how much colors affect other colors and how we see them. So I decided before I went any further with the skin that I would paint the background color because it's a very dark color, which could affect how the skin color looks, if that makes any sense. So I decided to fill in that background before I continued on correcting more of the skin colors. After adding the dark background, I realized I was missing quite a few warmer tones that I needed to make this skin feel more alive and not so pale and drained. And so I just kept on working with that and working on taking in the right colors and also darkening those shadows that are on there, because in this painting the shadows on the face kind of fade into black, and I definitely was really scared to make my colors that dark because once you do that there's really no going back. I mean, you can, but you basically have to restart everything that you just did, so that wasn't worth it to me. And then I started giving her these snake eyes, and don't worry, I fixed them. But I started doing the eyes, and this was another thing that was interesting because sometimes with paint you can make a color look like a color just because of the color surrounding it. Yeah, I know that made no sense, but sometimes people can make the color green, like make something look green without ever even using the color green. And for these eyes, they were pretty tricky. I have no idea what color they actually are or what color they were painted with, but it was tricky. So after that I moved on to the signature part, the pearl earring, and I was gonna save it for last because I was like, that's kind of a really important part of the painting, but I didn't because I just couldn't wait. I was too excited. And as you just saw, I also had a really hard time creating the blue for this headband. I don't really know what this is, but I had a really hard time creating the blue because it wasn't mixed with any colors that I could tell. Like if I mixed it with yellow, it got too green way too fast. If I mixed it with white, it was way too vibrant. I was thinking maybe it was mixed with some sort of gray, and that's what I ended up doing, but it's still really vibrant and not quite the right colors. So I'm not really sure how that color was achieved, but it's kind of cool to be able to try and recreate what the original artist was trying to do. And it's also really cool if you feel like you've done it, but I guess how can you really know? It was time to start working on her orange robe dress thing. I'm not really sure what she's wearing, but it's this weird kind of orangey gold brown color, and it was really hard to recreate again, which not really surprising since I'm literally trying to imitate this amazing piece of art. So it took me quite a few tries, but I just kind of wanted to put on a base layer at first so I could see how I needed to change up the shade that I had and what shades I needed to create to be able to make all of the folds and layers and depth that was created in the original for the clothing. While I'm blocking out those orange and brown colors, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I recreated this piece. So I'm doing this in acrylic paint, and I'm assuming that the original is done in oil, and so that makes a little bit of a difference for me. I had to do a lot of color blending, which you have to do a lot in oil as well, because with oil paint, and I'm sure probably with acrylic paint too, honestly, but you're not supposed to blend on the canvas, which sounds pretty tricky to me. But anyway, I used acrylic because it's what I have and it's what I'm most rehearsed in, but I do think oil would have given me a smoother finish and the ability to create more vibrant colors like the original painting had. But I digress. This is what I chose to do, so I just kept working on it, and it also allowed me to create this piece in 3 hours as opposed to 3 weeks. So for that, I am grateful. I had to do a lot of reworking on the outfit because the amount of detail and depth and just color amazingness in the original is insane. I had to rework this so many times because in the original, it is extremely smooth, but also extremely detailed, and the depth transitions so fast from dark to light, but also with no traceable distinction between the two. It's literally insane. Like, the amount of blending and gradients that are in that was a lot more than I initially realized. I thought the skin was going to be the hardest part, and trust me, it still was. But this outfit was a close second. It took me a very long time to make the gradients close enough to the original where I was happy, and I'm still nowhere close. It would have taken me literal hours just on this outfit to make it look anything like the original in terms of the color gradients and the vibrancy and just everything. I'm not gonna lie. It surprised me and made me take a step back for a second there and reevaluate all of my life choices. Like, why did I think that I could recreate this? In reality, I had no idea how this was gonna go. It's been quite a bit of time since I've painted on a canvas like this, and I was honestly just hoping for something that slightly resembled the original. So honestly, so far with how this is going, I was pretty happy, and I'm still really happy with the final result. Even though it's not very close at all to the original, I'm still very happy that you can tell who it is, what it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's really what I was going for with this one. After having a mid-painting crisis, I continued on with the top of the scarf headband hair thing. Again, I have no idea what this is, but it also had a lot of depth and dimension that was very hard to recreate, that I could have spent hours trying to make perfect, but never really would be in my hand. So I just did my best and added a lot of different shades and colors to try and create the folds and dimension that was in the original, and it took a lot of time and a lot of brush strokes, but again, I finally got to a place where I was happy with it, and I added some finalizing highlights, and then I realized that I forgot to do the blue at the end of the hair scarf headband thing, so I did that part and blended those in to the rest of it, and then it was finished, and it's pretty crazy. So here's the original, and again, this has a lot more color, depth, and tension, and here is mine. Overall though, I'm very happy with how this turned out, and honestly quite surprised that I did as well as I did. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.